Alrighty, guys. In this video, we're gonna break down um did manna really fall from heaven? So the title of this is "What is this?" Okay, which in Hebrew is where we get the word manna from, or manna from, right? So the what is this? The whole Israelite community grumbled against Moses and Aaron. So I'm gonna seek to answer using nature and how Yah operates, to be able to give you a realistic picture of what this actually was and what it actually means. Because we tend to think that manna actually came from heaven, and that's actually not the case. It didn't. So let's go ahead and look at this, and I hope that this could be able to help you. So um, we're going to start at Exodus 16, and we're going to read, and there's some couple of clues we're going to look for, and I'm going to bring that out as we continue to go forward. But it says, setting out from Elam, the whole Israelite community came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elam and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departure from the land of Egypt. Okay. In the wilderness, the whole community grumbled against Moses and Aaron. The Israelites said to them, "If only we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots and when we ate our fills of bread." Okay, this is going to be important because the language, every piece of information means something when you're studying the text. You got to analyze it. Why would Yah bring them out in the 15th day of the second month? Okay, after their departure from the land of Egypt. Why is that date important? Why is that time frame important? Right? Why is Israel referring to they should have died by the hand of the Lord? Okay, why are they making this statement here? It's very, very important information. And secondly, lastly, why are they saying we sat by flesh pots and ate our bread? It's going in the order, right? So why are they saying this, right? We want to go ahead and investigate and look a little bit deeper into this. So some questions we're going to ask is, why would Yahweh choose to bring our ancestors out during this time of year? And two, why flesh pots, then bread? Why meat, then bread? So we want to go ahead and we're going to look at that, and we're going to answer this, because Israel is saying, okay, you brought us out here to die in this wilderness, right? So what is this as we continue to go forward? Okay, so for question one, we will see later why Yah brought Israel out this specific time of year. Is very specific. So we're going to see why he brought them out this specific time of year. We will see that Yah is going to specifically answer Israel's gripe. In the order in which they ask, that's the order in which Yah is going to answer it very specifically. You're going to see this. So we're going to pay close attention to the details as we go forward. Now, we're going to go ahead and read a little bit more. And the Lord said to Moses, "I will rain down bread, lechem, right, for you from the sky, shemayim." Okay, this is where they get the word heaven from. When he said, "I'm going to rain down bread from heaven," that's actually not what the text says. Shemayim just means firmament. It just means the sky, right? Now, when he's talking about rain down bread from the sky, that is figurative. It's not literal. He doesn't mean literally he's going to rain down bread from the sky. You're going to see this when it comes up, right? So a lot of times you'll see that in the Torah, in the text, Yah speaks with very figurative language. The hand of God. I brought you out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Well, he's a spirit. God doesn't have hands. So what does that actually mean? Well, it's a way for us to be able to recognize what is going on. So we're going to keep that in mind as we go forward. Now, and it goes on to say that, "And the people shall go out and gather each day that day's portion, that I may thus test them." So he's already telling you he's going to give us more than enough, but he just want to see if we only going to take what we need for that day, right? Now, so it says, "To see whether they will follow my instructions." This is where the word Torah comes from. It's not a commandment. It's not a law. It doesn't mean law. Torah just simply means teachings, his instructions. Pay attention to what I'm trying to teach you, right? Or not. So it says, but on the sixth day, when they apportion what they have brought in, it shall prove to be double the amount they gather each day. So when it's getting ready to be the Shabbat, it's going to be double the amount that it normally would be. This is key. We won't touch on this idea here, but it's some very powerful stuff. I want to stick to the point of, was this bread coming from heaven? How did y'all do this? And we're going to see very naturally how these things take place, right? So it goes on and says that, so Moses and Aaron said to all of Israel, all the Israelites, pay attention to this. By evening you shall know it was the Lord, or by evening you shall know it was Yud-He Vav-He, Yahweh, as some would say, or Yehovah, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. By evening you shall know it was Yehovah that brought you out of the land of Egypt. This is very, very, very important information. Now, let's go ahead and move forward here. So, what we'll see is, why by evening shall they know it was Yehovah who brought them out from the land of Egypt? Why by evening? Okay, now, Yehovah brought Israel out by natural scientific actions. These things that he used to bring our ancestors out were real. They were very real. This wasn't some farce, fake thing that was happening futuristic from the sky. It was very real. And I'm going to show you just how beautiful the Torah is and how beautiful Yah is. So let's go ahead and continue to move forward. It's very real scientific stuff that's happening here. And when you see it, you're going to marvel, because this is something only Yah could have put in place, right? Now, so it goes on to say that, and in the morning you shall behold the presence of the Lord, because he has heard your grumblings against the Lord. Very strange. In the morning you shall behold the presence of the Lord. So at night, you're going to see that he brought you out of the land of Egypt. And in the morning, you're going to behold his presence. This is talking very specifically to the flesh pot and the bread that he's going to provide, right? So what we want to do here in this instance is, you want to pay attention to the pattern. By night, you will know he brought you out of Egypt, and by morning you will behold the presence. It's very important. This pattern is set here to prove a point to Israel, matching the fire by night and the cloud by day. But we're going to see how Yah is going to even use this idea to show forth the flesh pot and the manna, right? So let's go ahead and continue here. So it says, for who are we that you should grumble against us, since it is Yah, Moses continued, who will give you flesh to eat in the evening and bread in the morning to the full, because the Lord has heard the grumblings you uttered against him. What is our part? Your grumbling is not against us, but against Yehovah. Then Moses said to Aaron, say to the whole Israelite community, advance towards Yehovah, for he has heard your grumblings. Okay, let's go ahead. Now, remember to pay close attention to the order, okay? And Aaron spoke to the whole Israelite community. They turned towards the wilderness. And there, in a cloud, appeared the presence of Yehovah. Yehovah spoke to Moses, I have heard the grumblings of the Israelites. Speak to them and say, By evening you shall eat flesh, and in the morning you shall have your fill of bread, and you shall know that I am Yahweh, your Elohim, your God. This is powerful because he has set something in the eons of time that's about to be activated now at this specific point of time in the year so Israel can come out. Watch this. Now, check this out. So the question is, can we use nature to prove this? And it's absolutely yes. So it says in verse 13, in the evening, quail appeared and covered the camp. In the morning, there was a fall of dew about the camp. Now, before we get into this, quail came and fell and covered the camp. This is strange. Why would quail come and cover the camp? Okay, so here, get ready to meet the meat by evening. This is the quail of the Sinai desert. Watch this. Let's go forward. This is the quail of the Sinai desert. This quail migrates to the Sinai desert specifically every time of year during the end of the spring. Watch this. So, the common quail, right? Let's see. Has been very well known a very long time in the old world. Egyptian hieroglyphics from 5000 BC. Picture them. Their northern breed range runs from western Morocco through Europe to the Baltic states, across Russia and the Middle East to Lake Baikal and India. The western Eurasian breed winter in Egypt and down the Nile River to the sub-Saharan Africa, while Central Asian breeders winter in India. Some far western birds migrate past Gibraltar, but most avoid that enormous barrier to Europe, avian migration, the Mediterranean Sea, by flying around the East End. So what happens is there's such a barrier that if they go straight to Europe, they fly a pattern that takes them down through the Sinai desert to get back to Europe. This is marvelous. Yah designed them to go this specific way during the time of year, right? So, by flying around the east through Egypt, the Sinai, Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Turkey, and onward to Europe and Western Asia. Northbound flocks can be in the hundreds. Southbound groups are usually much smaller. Now, we can safely conclude that the quail is almost certainly the bird that reportedly helped sustain Israel in the desert. Look at this. Just as they could sustain anyone in this region during quail's migrations, even today, their primary migration route does traverse the Sinai. They typically come to water pools in the evening. This is why he said in the evening the quail is going to be there. Why? Because in the evening they come to the water pools in bunches. This is why he said in the evening you're going to know I brought you out. Why? Because the quail is going to provide you the meat that you were looking for, that you were familiar with in Egypt. That quail, that flesh pot you was familiar with, I'm going to bring it to you in the Sinai. Powerful. So, and the Bible even got the name right. When they try to talk about, oh, the Bible is made up. This stuff is pinpoint accuracy. You just don't understand how to read the text because nobody never told you how to read the text. But you see, they even got the name right. This could occur only during migrations northward from mid-February to mid-April, and to a lesser extent, southward in September and October, when the flocks are far smaller and more scattered. They do not breed south of Palestine. Nearly the entire population of birds migrate between Europe and Africa and are present in Sinai only during migration. Yah was migrating Israel out. The quail was migrating through to feed them. Powerful. This is how he said you're gonna know that I am Yah. Why? Because the quail that I made in the beginning that flies this route is gonna feed you. This was the meat by night. Let's keep going. So, it goes on to talk about what they would do in the Sinai. There's different pictures of them putting up nets to be able to catch the quails when they come by and everything. So it's just very powerful thing. So we see that this quail only fly in the Sinai during migration, which was during the time Israel was leaving. So Yah fed them the quail by night. Why? Because they come to the pools of water in the evening. So Israel's traveling through the desert. They want to be by the water at night. Why? To re-energize so they can move during the day. Yah is a genius. Now, let's go ahead. Let's move forward. So, when the fall of dew lifted, there over the surface of the wilderness lay a fine and flaky substance, as fine as frost on the ground. When the Israelites saw it, they said to one another, "What is this?" That's the word manna. Manna is what is this? It's not the name of the food. It is what is this? Why? Because they did not know what it was. They haven't had contact with that before, right? And Moses said to them, "That is the bread which the Lord has given you to eat." Watch this. Meet the manna tree that grows in the Sinai desert. It's called tamarisk. Let's get into it. The French tamarisk is a this is deciduous, right? Shrub or small tree which originates from Saudi Arabia and the Sinai Peninsula, and is now very common around the Mediterranean region and beyond. It is wind and salt tolerant and frequently occurs in coastal areas near the sea. It is easy to miss or ignore until it bursts into flowers in late spring. I come across this one flowering in late April. This is why Passover was done in the spring. Why? Because Yah knew that the tamarisk and the quail was going to be in Sinai. He knew it. Powerful. Now, check this out. The small white, pink, red colored flowers occur in dense clusters or panicles, like pancakes, with five of each sepals, petals, and stamens, right? Amazingly, each tiny flower contains 20 or more ovals, each of which is capable of developing into a seed. A single mature plant can therefore produce hundreds of thousands of seeds in a season. Hundreds of thousands of seeds. Now, check this out. This tree was once quite common in the Sinai desert. Not sure of its status now. It is thought to be the origin of the term manna from heaven in the Bible. This is real. The tamarisk manna scales, right, produce large quantities of honeydew, which solidifies in a thick, sugary exudate, right, on the leaves. So when Yah was providing them bread, it was this that he was talking about. The tamarisk tree. Let's keep going. The book of Exodus 16, 1 through 31 states that raw manna tastes like wafers that had been made with honey. Number 2, there did not seem to be any manna on these trees in Spain, so perhaps the insects only occurred in the Sinai desert. Why would it be talking about insects? Because Yah said, don't keep it. If you keep it too long, the maggots is gonna get it. That word maggot is insect. That's why he told him, if you keep it too long, the insects is gonna eat it. Only take what you need. Why? Because it occurred at a specific time of the morning. You had to eat it when it came due, or else the maggots would get to it. So there in Spain, let's see, in Sinai, right? Their mealy bugs was present there in 1988. I guess both the tree and the insects have been there for millions of years. In Sinai, Yah was not raining manna from heaven. It was already on the earth. That's why he brought them out in this season, so that this could provide food for them as they traveled through the wilderness. Now, let's keep going, right? So what is this that we see? We see that by nature, Yah blessed Israel. When the Torah tells us the heavens declare the glory, his glory, it is also a reference to this event, as it is written, in the morning you shall behold the presence of the Lord. Not just the presence of the Lord in the cloud, but his glory in the manna. So what do we see here? We see that Yah is real. He's very real. He has left small traces of our history and past. We have to do, all we have to do is just behold the presence of the Lord. It is real. The Torah is real. But these things have to make sense. You have to put them in their time when it was written. Yah brought Israel out during the Passover because of this. This was one of the reasons why they came out, so that they would know who he was. He brought the quails in by night and the tamarisk in by day. I hope you all enjoyed this little video here. I would not be correct if I didn't say that. I'm learning a lot from the classes and courses and stuff that I'm in, and my hope is to continue to grow and to bring it to the people, because we need this information. We need to understand the God of the Torah. We need to understand him in the simplest form as we possibly can. So my hope is that I provide that help. This is Jason with this nice little Torah update. Manna, what is this? Y'all have a great day. Peace.